Crypto Trader is proudly brought to you by Element, a full-service investment bank for the digital token capital markets.
So we often talk about how the blockchain is going to change the world, and the more we look at applications, the more we realize that indeed blockchain is changing every industry in the world. But who's thought about the bigger causes that blockchain can solve? Say things like ending world poverty. Well, Patrick Byrne, who's the founder of Overstock and the CEO of Overstock, was one of the keynote speakers here today, and he believes that the blockchain can change and end world poverty. Such a pleasure to have you on our show on CNBC.
My honor, Ren. My honor. Thank you very much. Well, I'm most excited. We have, I think, 12 different blockchain investments now, but the single one I am most excited about is the investment in the company called DeSoto Inc. that is going to take this man's ideas and institute them globally. Hernando DeSoto is a famous proven economist. Millions of people in Peru have land titled to their farms because of Hernando DeSoto. He's probably the last man who can say he defeated a terrorist movement, and that's by he basically did a land reform effort, if I may very loosely call it, land reform, that in Peru, that we think we can now, through the magic of blockchain and digital marketing and mobile apps, bring global.
Okay, but how does it work? How are you going to use the blockchain and end poverty?
Well, Hernando, take it from, this is the great economist himself. We'll explain.
Well, it's very simple. What you've got is that property is not only what you believe is yours, is what your neighbors believe is yours and they're willing to respect. So property is the result of a social contract. Well, it so happens that 5 billion people in the world have whatever land they've got, their animals, their machinery, they own on the basis of an agreement that is in a document from India all the way to Peru, passing through South Africa. We've discovered that those documents exist, and they're not laundry lists that say that shirt is mine and the pair of pants is mine. It's a laundry list that says we all believe that this is justice.
It's a
and
social
we're capturing
contract.
That social contract, but it's written in a property record. And so what we have found out is that if we can collect those property records, we can create the book of property rights of the world. And blockchain is nothing else than a ledger system, a way to organize information, and the most precise and the best organized that we know today in the 21st century.
And how would governments respond to people coming and taking these social contracts and putting them onto a formal blockchain where, you know, the governments have got a competing system with formal deeds?
Well, when they find out that throughout all these last 50 to 60 years, they haven't been able to take 2/3 of the world in, and that we have, I suppose they're going to be very grateful. Second, when they find out that the people that are, in many cases, enforcing those rights happen to be terrorist movements from the Islamic State to Al-Qaeda to the Shining Path, we are going to be taking over the branding or the organization of what terrorist movements have. They should be very, very happy at the end of the game.
Okay, so let's talk practically. How are we actually doing this? What are the next steps?
Well, I'm the practical side.
Okay.
What are the next steps? We formed a company. You go ahead.
Yeah, we formed a company, and Patrick can talk to you about that. And the idea is we've already picked up a lot of these ledgers. It isn't we haven't done it, we've just done it manually. What we are now developing in his headquarters in Salt Lake City in Utah is how we're going to do all of this via the internet. And Patrick mentioned that when he said that when we had begun this in Peru, for example, regarding the mining sector, we found out when somebody was telling me, look at Facebook, and I said, Facebook is really where my girlfriend looks at her poodle, says, yes, but 18 million Peruvians of 30 million have got Facebook. And then we started communicating with Facebook, and we're reaching millions. So we're now setting up the technical teams, maybe something you want to talk about, how your guys are coming into this to now, instead of picking up certain types of information, picking up information that is central to fighting poverty and creating wealth.
Patrick, the more practical side of things, what are the next steps?
Next steps is we have built a company, we have staffed it, we are building the application. The application is well developed. We will be seeing us, perhaps before the quarter is over, actually launching it in a certain yet-to-be-named country, and we will be titling up that country and then taking it next door and spreading all over the world, liberating all over the world.
And if our viewers want to follow the progress, where can they follow the progress of what you guys are doing?
Go to a website. It's not live yet, but it should be in bare bones within a week, called DeSoto.com.
Okay, so that's DeSoto.com if you want to follow a project that uses the blockchain to end world poverty.
Crypto Trader is proudly brought to you by Element, a full-service investment bank for the digital token capital markets.